Hey folks, this is Gray here, and today we're going to be diving into planting our Seminole pumpkins to complete our Three Sisters grow. There's a few other things that I want to go over in this video in regards to some questions that have been raised in some previous videos in this series in regards to the Three Sisters. One is specifically the corn and its height and whatnot. I also kind of want to show you some other things that I got going on in the garden to answer some of those questions. And I like questions because it kind of, some people, when you look at corn in itself, most of the time you see corn in, like, Nebraska or, somewhere where corn is grown on an abundant basis, and you're seeing anywhere from, 5 to 7 feet stalks when corn is fully grown. And specifically the corn that I got growing on here only gets to about 3 to maybe 4.5 feet max. I have no idea what's going to happen with them. Again, like I said, this whole thing is an experiment, and the corn is now at the point where it's producing its silk, and I'm going to show you real quick how I pollinate the silk, because in large fields, when you have corn, the wind blows, and it's a very windy day here. Funny enough, you would expect that all the stuff off the tassels would come down and pollinate the silk on the corn, and like I said, we'll look at that. But in a small raised garden bed, that's probably not going to work for you, and you're going to get really either deformed corn or corn with that many kernels. You're just not going to get the best outcome when doing that. So I'm going to show you that. I'm going to go ahead and plug in the 3 Seminole pumpkins that we're going to do. I'm going to probably put 2 seeds per bed, or 2 seeds per in this bed, because it has a 94% germination rate. I'll thin them out because I only want 3 plants total in this, because Seminole pumpkins can actually stretch out pretty well. But we're going to wrap that through in here. It's going to create that ground cover that we're looking for to complete, like I said, our Three Sisters grow here. And again, another thing is my timing. My timing's off by about 10 days. And the reason I say that is, some of you folks remember that I got the flu and I had to take a break. I was out of doing YouTube videos for 10 days. I was sick as a dog. There's nothing I could do. And things happen. So that kind of threw my timing off with getting everything planted at the right times. But I do want to show you the progress of the beans and the pole beans. And someone had mentioned it to me, hey Gray, if the corn's only going to get so tall, what are you going to do about your pole beans? They can reach anywhere from 10 to 12 to so many feet. I do have a plan for that. And that's the thing about having a plan of action when you grow things and things that might happen in your garden, is to have the tools necessary to kind of fix those issues and whatnot. Basically, I don't know if you guys have heard of the TP method. But usually I grab, I'm going to show you guys here. I got them laid over here on this bed here, but it's bamboo poles, and basically you kind of get them up, you take some twine, you make a teepee out of it, and you run your beans on that, and you can run them around it, wrap around it, up and down it, whatever, to kind of suffice the whole plant's spurt to want to go up. And because this corn is not going to get more than 3.5, max 4 feet. I'm looking at it now, most of them are about 3.5 to 4 feet. I have one that's about 4 feet. I think all the other folks are about 3 feet. Anyways, enough of me rambling on. I'm pretty sure you folks want to see me plant the Seminole pumpkins to complete that trio for the ladies in the garden, and then show you the silk on the corn and how far it's coming. And this happens every week. It's just, the abundance of growth is tremendous, and I've learned a lot in this process. But anyways, folks, let's get into the garden. Let's kind of take a little trip around the garden before we get to planting the Seminole pumpkins. And here's what I'm talking about, the silk. It is basically stretched out. And an interesting fact for some of you folks that may not know, each one of these strands of silk equals a kernel of corn. So we can kind of bounce around there, and you can see the silk everywhere you look, even on the little macro plants. Like this little guy is not even a foot tall, and it may grow an ear of corn. I don't know, but I guess they're trying to do what they're trying to do. You know what I mean? But this guy here, this is your 4-footer. This is if you want to kind of get an idea, as I pull out, you can kind of see the corn. A lot of it is about almost 4 foot tall, and they're all producing the silk. Now, as you see this color here, this darker color, that's usually telling me that it needs to be pollinated. Now, if you can see in here, you can tell I've been pollinating it every day, basically by taking the male part of the plant right here and putting it down here on the female part of the plant and having it pollinate. Now there's a way of doing that, and I can kind of show you guys that process for some of you folks if you guys are wanting to know how to pollinate your corn right before we go ahead and do these seeds. Now again, we're going to do a Seminole pumpkin there, probably one over here in this empty space there, and then one at that side of there as well. So let's take a look at the beans real fast. These are the beans that I planted last week, and you can see they've already shot up already well. They're probably about 6 or so inches in height. I know I got a couple more hanging out in here. I got some beans in there. Let's kind of move this corn aside so that you guys can see those beans right there. And if you can see that in there or not, the camera's going to focus. Where else do I got beans at? Right here we got some beans as well, as you can see that. And right over here we got some more beans, and you can see they're doing pretty well. Now if you look here, these are those poles I'm telling you about. And basically, since the corn is only going to be so high, I could move my shadow out the way. The corn's only going to be so high, so if the beans start wrapping around the corn, and let's say it's not strong enough, I will insert these poles in the corn to stabilize the beans. And if anything, like I said, I will make like a TP type design over this bed. If worst case scenario, I can use them like here and run it across this area right here as well. So there's always a method to my madness in regards to that, but this kind of gives you a little look at what's going on. Let me move this over a little bit. We've still been dealing with some weird corn critters. I forget the actual name of them, but I kill them every time I come in here, because what they do is they'll come in here and they'll burrow themselves in here. And they'll put their little grub in there, and they'll start eating away at things. And you can always find it by noticing things on your leaf. I'm gonna see if I can find something where I found it. So if you notice any of this here, all right, look, there's a bug right there. Let me see if we can get that bug right there. That wasn't the bug that I'm talking about, but if you see your leaves doing that, you know there's some sort of bug activity. And what they'll do is they'll hide down in there. So what I do is I come in here and I'll open this up and kind of get to it. I don't know if you guys can see that in there. It's hard to see with the camera, but in there. But I will literally pull out the grub, and you got to check your plants daily, just because you never know. Anyways, real quick in regards to the pollination of the plants, I'm going to grab this little thing here, and basically I'm going to take the male part of the plant and I'm going to put it on the female part of the plant and just kind of put that all in there. And you know, I do this daily. Sometimes I'll just take the other parts of the male plant and run it on there, but I'll do this daily to kind of, camera's not doing a good job of focusing today. You can go around there. This should make it a lot easier here. As you can see, basically I'm going to rub that on the female part of the plant, basically trying to pollinate the plants myself. And like I said, you don't have to break these off. You can just take parts of it and just rub it on there, or if you have one of these so you're not breaking off all your tassels, and put it on the silk there, and just kind of keep on rubbing it on there, and just kind of trying to pollinate the corn. And the more that you do this, the better outcome you're going to have on your corn's development. All right, so just like when we did the beans here, I'm going to take a spot here, find my dirt underneath the mulch, make a little spot for it, and then I'm going to go just so deep in the ground, kind of pull up, and you can see how well, look at the dirt. I don't know if you guys can, if you guys live in Florida or anywhere where there's not good dirt, you can tell how well the dirt in this bed is turning. This is like a nice rich, nice black dirt. I mean, it's just amazing when you amend your soil properly, how well the soil will turn out. And it's just this rich, nice, dark soil between the compost and everything we've done to this bed. Anyways, so we're going to take a little hole, and we're going to drop 2 Seminole pumpkin seeds in that hole, and then we're going to continue that in the center and then on the other end. So these are my Seminole pumpkin seeds here, and I usually try to look for, when I get a seed pack, I try to look at the most healthiest seeds I could possibly find, and use those just for the best turnout. So we're going to take one and another one. Let's stick this one here close to each other, and then we're going to just kind of cover that dirt up right there. It's always fun doing videos when you're one-handed, your own producer, your own director. We're going to cover that right there, and then we're going to go ahead and water that in once we get all the seeds planted. And last but not least, we're at the other end of the bed, and we're going to go ahead and pop in these other 2 seeds. Put some of that dirt over it, and then we'll go ahead and water everything in. And that kind of does it for planting the Seminole pumpkins. I will do a follow-up as well in regards to how they germinate, how many we get. You can see I got one there, and the one that we started with down here. And that will complete all the planting aspect of the Three Sisters Grow for now. But as we come into issues and problems, we'll document those as well. And to kind of give you an idea of the corn itself, let's kind of pull back a little bit. And you can see kind of the height of the corn there. Like I said, about 3.5 to 4 feet tall. 4 feet back there when I use the measuring tape is about 4 foot 4 inches. Kind of give you an idea of the height of the corn. All right, so let's cut back to me real quick. All right, so that's kind of a look at the final stage in regards to planting the Three Sisters garden. And like I said, I know a lot of you folks have been following me since the first video when we started the Three Sisters. Again, I will plug that up here in the corner if you're new to the channel, or if you're just stumbling across this video now and you want to see where it all started. And you can see my progression from where I started planting the corn all the way to where we're at now. And again, like I said, we're going to be documenting this whole process. Now, I did get someone that sent me a comment in regards to, you know, hey, this is a bit redundant and whatnot, but I was like, look, man, it's a process, and people want to see each plant that I'm planting, from the corn. They want to see the planting of the beans, they want to see the planting of the pumpkins, and they want to see that whole process, and they also want to see it grow. Also any type of issues that I may run into, and how I deal with those issues. So I said it's more of a informational video, you know what I mean? I know some of them can seem a little bit repetitive, but a lot of people have noticed and watched how the garden has been growing. But I guess there's always going to be someone out there that's just not going to be happy with the way you do things and stuff like that. And it doesn't really get me down anymore now that I've been doing YouTube for several years now. It just comes with the territory. But hopefully that me documenting this entire process, a lot of you guys who might want to be interested in trying to duplicate something like this, can learn from some of my mistakes, where I made some of the issues at, and things that I've also done to help the garden become more of a success. And that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping we have some sort of successful, even if I only get 2 or 3 ears of corn and, you know, a couple bushels of beans and, you know, 2 or 3 pumpkins. To me, that's a success. I've learned a lot in that process. I've you know, completed, for me, a task, something that I've been wanting to do for quite some time. That being said, folks, if you guys want to see another garden update of the first bed, I can do another garden update next week if you guys like, and we can skip the Three Sisters next week, and we'll just do like an update, maybe a little harvest video, and see what we got going on in the main garden, because there's all kinds of explosive growth in there. In regards to, we have some more of the bush beans versus the pole beans over there. We have bush beans here. We got 2 types of tomatoes and other stuff like that. And like I said, if you haven't seen the first update, I'll tag that one up here as well, so that you can see that. There's just so much that I've been doing this year in regards to this garden. And to let you guys know, the reason we didn't do the 3rd bed yet is one, Lady Grey, the wife, got sick, and she was down for about a week, and she's recovered. She's feeling better now. So now this weekend we're going to end up doing the raised bed. And I told her I need to, because we're going to be doing, when I build that bed, I'm going to be doing something that I want to video in that process when it comes to how we're going to be watering that, and how we're going to compare these 3 beds. one that's using more of a soaker hose, one that's not using any irrigation at all other than me watering it, and the other one is going to be drip irrigation. We're going to look at how they, which works better, and how the gardens do so far. I haven't had too many differences, and it made me think of another question that popped up on the last video. Some people said, Grey, corn is a very, very heavy feeder, and I'm like, it is. It's very, very heavy. Nitrogen, some of the macronutrients, and water. But that's why, if you notice, I put that mulch in there. That mulch keeps a lot of that moisture locked in. Next time I'll show you my little device. Some of you folks may have seen it. You put it in there, it kind of lets you know your moisture level from what level, like how during the depth. And so far it's working out well. The corn I water every day to every other day, depending on the heat. And if we've had any rain, which we haven't had any rain at all in my area, so I'm having to kind of keep an eye on that. But I check the moisture levels of the beds at least every other day, just to kind of keep an eye on things. It might be a little bit too much, but I enjoy it. I don't really see gardening as work. I love being out here. I love learning. I love working with the plants. I just like being in the garden in general. So to me, I never considered gardening work. So it's just a passion that I have, and hopefully that shows through to you, my viewers, of what I've been trying to do over the last few years and learning every aspect of gardening in regards to growing your own food. All right, folks. So enough of me rambling on. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, a thumbs up would be appreciated. And if you're new here, again, subscribe. We got lots of interesting videos on the channel, and lots of cool playlists that you can kind of go through, things that I've done, from grow bags to different types of gardening and stuff like that. Now we're doing the raised beds. Other than that, remember, you are not alone. This is GreyMan. I'm out. I'll see you guys on a rebound, and God bless.